Hello everybody and welcome to this week newsreel. Bogdan here, your host for the next 10-12 agonizing minutes. I hope that you are all doing great, and guys, without losing too much precious time here and asking you to hit the like and the subscribe buttons, let's cut to the chase and start with the quiz question for this week, which it's about the exports of the Republic of Moldova, and it goes like this. So, to whom did the Republic of Moldova exported the most in 2021 in terms of value? And the options here are Romania, Turkey, or the third option, the Russian Federation. And the correct answer, guys, is Romania, to whom the exports amounted to some $833 million. It was followed by Turkey with $314 million, while the Russian Federation sat on the third spot with $276 million. Now, before moving to the actual news here, let's see how the Freightos index behaved in these last 2 weeks while I was gone, and basically what I have anticipated at the end of July came true. So basically the trans-Pacific trades behave more docile, while the crossways ones were more volatile, above my 3 to 5% downwards prediction, except maybe for the sub-index towards North Europe, who in week 30 had a 6% contraction, but then again in week 31 bounced up with some 9%. But let's say that on aggregate, this sub-index also, it's in the 3 to 5% range that I was predicting. Moving to the overall index here, we see here we have 0.3 positive change, which brings the absolute value to $6,139, with big movers here involving the sub-indexes connecting Europe to South America East Coast, who was up 17%, while the other big mover, this time on the opposite direction, was the sub-index connecting China to the Mediterranean, who fell 10%. Now, relative to the main sub-indexes here, as usual, I will start with the trans-Pacific ones, which continue to keep a low variability, and we have a 1% positive change for the sub-index connecting China to North America West Coast, and a 1% contraction on the other sub-index, so the sub-index connecting China to North America East Coast. For the crossways ones, we have a 9% positive change on the sub-index connecting China to North Europe. So we have $10,463 in absolute terms, while the other one, as I've told you, fell 10%, bringing the absolute value to $10,649. As for what the future of the indexes or the sub-indexes will look like, well, it's anyone's guess really, and it all depends if we will have a peak season in the old-fashioned style with lots of volumes in a relatively short period of time, which I highly doubt it. Personally, or I don't know, maybe the BCOs and the importers already placed their orders and the volumes are already shipped, which I think it's the case for many of them in order to try to avoid the missing out sales as they've learned last year. Anyhow, time will tell if I am right or wrong. So without anything else to add here, guys, let's move to the first news that I wanted to cover here. It's coming from Freightos.com, and it's covering the pay of shipping executives, more precisely CEOs. And we have here 3 categories of shipping CEOs, cruise, bulk, and container, but I will only focus on the pay of the container shipping executives. And unlike the author who tells us or suggests us, I'm not surprised to find out that the CEOs with the largest fleets don't necessarily earn the highest compensation. And for this, I have one remark to make. When you have hundreds of vessels, an established network, a long history, and relatively good quality of service, things work more easily, and inertia, if you want, has a lot to do with in terms of operation and management. On the other side, the smaller, nimbler, or I don't know, relatively new companies make a lot of more effort in terms of finding niche services, which, from my point of view, increases the operational and management complexities. So, no, guys, for me, it's not a strange thing to find out that the CEOs from smaller companies earn more than those from long-established ones. So anyways, getting back to the compensation here, the highest paid CEOs from the container line, shipping lines for 2022 are, on the first place, we have Eli Glickman from Zim, who cashed in $9.92 million in 2021, from which 70% it's stock compensation. The second highest paid CEO was Soren Skou, from Maersk, who cashed in $7.16 million, and he has 25% from this amount is related to stock and options, while the third highest earner in 2021 was Matson CEO Matt Cox, who earned $5.96 million with 53% of his total in stock. Personally, and I bet I'm not the only one here, I would be very, very curious to know the pay of Soren Toft, MSC CEO. But unfortunately, given the fact that MSC is not a listed company, we don't have access to this. Now, guessing, guys, the pay of Soren Toft, that's another thing. And I don't know, with the help of some reverse engineering, if you want, we can find the following. So we know that he's coming from Maersk. There he was a chief operating officer at MSC. He came in December 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Freights peaked in September or October 2021. I don't think he has bearer shares or something similar. So let's say that with all this info available, I think the pay for 2021 was in the range of $5 to $6 million. And Soren, if I'm right, please do not hit the dislike button. Anyways, joke aside, guys, it's fair to pay your executives and give bonuses to your employees and so on when the bank accounts are full, to spread the wealth if you want. And I will stop here with this news, as I don't want to be critical when it comes to the same CEO's compensation in 2019. Which were more or less the same, let's say. And now when, I don't know, competition authorities are scrutinizing their companies, they are telling us that back then when freights were low, no importer or exporter give a fig about them and their losses. Anyways, I don't want to debate more. I'll move to my second news. This one is coming from businessincameroon.com, as it seems that Cameroon will launch online phytosanitary certificates for the import and export of goods, particularly for the cocoa, coffee, and the timber sectors. And basically, this certificate acts as a passport for plants and plant products moving internationally, removing basically the physical one in which the certificate had to be sent to the exporter, who had to fill the form, print it, and then presenting it physically to the authorities for signature. So Cameroon, basically, it's taking small but important steps, if you ask me, in supporting its importers and exporters, and hopefully other African countries will follow suit. As let's face it, digitalization has a lot of benefits, and unfortunately, Africa, it's not a continent where these practices are the norm. So anyways, good thing to hear about changes like this. And now I'll move to my next news, guys. It's the third one, if I'm not mistaken. It's coming from the lodestar.com. And we have here an article in which the big China exit that some of the professionals are anticipating is put under scrutiny by other professionals who say that there won't be a big exodus of foreign companies out of China. And I quote here from Mr. Hookham, China needs American customers and American customers want Chinese prices, end of quote. It seems that there is a fluidity that happens for some time now, especially in terms of low value, highly labor intensive products, with corporations sourcing in other Asian countries. Now, guys, I think it's worth mentioning and giving this article some kind of context. This article was written on the 29th of July. Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan was, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago. We saw some Chinese military drills there. From a political point of view, the relationship with China is very, very complicated, more complicated than my relation with my wife. And you can't ignore politics when it comes to business. And what I'm trying to say here is that, yes, I do agree that some companies are shifting towards Vietnam or other Asian countries, and that China indeed managed to create the capabilities of exporting complex and high value added products. But that means nothing if the United States sanctions China as it sanctioned recently the Russian Federation. And of course, guys, in order to be effective, other countries need to follow suit in terms of sanctions, as they did with Russia. Hopefully, we won't reach that stage, but not factoring in politics into the equation, it's a big, big mistake. And honestly, maybe this is out of context, with the risk of being called paranoid, I think that the latest COVID restrictions in China were meant as a stress test in the event of some sanctions. But anyways, guys, as I've told you, I don't want to be a paranoid, and I will move to my last news. Bear with me. It's a report coming from USDA, which is called Spanish Fodder Exporters Break New Ceiling. It's dated July 29th, and I will cover only the report's highlights, which basically says that in the 2022-2023 season, the dry spring is anticipated to have negatively affected yields in non-irrigated land. On the processing side, energy prices will keep forcing margins down, while on the export side, dried fodder will be the main outlet. And speaking here of dried fodder exports for the 2021-2022 season, they've managed to break a new ceiling amounting to 1.6 million metric tons, which is an all-time record. And I won't cover more but for those of you interested in this topic, you have really, really useful information related to Spain's area and production, I don't know, the processing industry or the trade flows. So please do not hesitate to read the entire report. And guys, with this being said, that's all for today. I really hope that you've liked it. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe buttons. And as usual, until next time, keep your business safe. Thanks.